So guys, as we saw yesterday, FOMC came out and the big decision was, how's the market going to react? We have Bitcoin sitting at $29,000. Are we going to have the bottoms and are we going to 28,000? But what we spoke about yesterday as well, as we've seen, FOMCs has basically given us a nice little direction move in the market. And what I've noticed previously before is when we've come a few weeks to the upside and an FOMC happens, it usually starts a downtrend. And you can see here, every time we have this long stretch up even into FOMC, FOMC usually slows it down until a few weeks later, we had the first time that we actually started dumping a few days into FOMC, therefore created a mega pump. And this time, what we saw over here was the last week or so, we've had been pulling back into FOMC. And what's happened all of a sudden is we bounced yesterday. We're sitting at a very critical level at the moment, which is the major trend line. And this is the big thing now. Are we going to still go down to the major levels or are we going to break this major resistance? Because if Bitcoin goes back above 30,000, it's now erased this resistance over here and we can start getting to go time again. We spoke about the possibility that they might shake us out here just to hit all the stop losses and then continue the run back to the upside. But what was also very interesting is look at dominance. I spoke about this yesterday, that every time we have an FOMC, it actually changes or does something to the direction of dominance. And we know that dominance has been in this little wedge for the last few days. And we know that there's a big gap to the downside and there's a big gap to the upside. And all of a sudden, what happened last night is we have Bitcoin still trading a little bit sideways. It did bounce, which was good, but we had the dominance completely fall down. Therefore, you have Solana waking up. You got Matic waking up today. You got Doge looking ready to wake up again. And ultimately, if we lose this area within today, there's a big possibility that dominance can come all the way back down to 48%. So again, FOMC is clearly leading to us that it does some sort of directional change. Now, what we're going to be speaking about today is let's go through the top 3 best obvious trades that we can see right now. Because if we break this trend, market's going to explode. If this dominance comes down, altcoins are going to explode. We even have 𝗕𝗵𝗄. Look at 𝗕𝗵𝗄. 𝗕𝗵𝗄 all of a sudden bounced beautifully on the 618 line over here and about to break trend. Or we're about to have 𝗕𝗵𝗄 wake up. Not only just Doge, but have 𝗕𝗵𝗄 wake up. Is this the time where retail get invited into the market? Guys, we've been working hard, but now it's the excitement time. Let's keep our heads down, let's keep focused, and let's make money. No more wasting time. Let's get into the show.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper.
Fam, hope you're having a fantastic day. Come on, bulls. Is this the time where the bulls come and show up? We've had everyone doubt again. We had a lot of FUD enter the markets, but we still knew that we are above support at the moment. Short-term supports were broken, but when it comes to the major indicators, the 200 daily moving average, all of these major indicators, Bitcoin still holds above. And what we're paying attention to now is when we're going to possibly go test the top of that range again. And when are we going to finally get the real altcoin catch up, the real altcoin push? Therefore, we need Ethereum. We need some of the big dogs to help us to bring that dominance to the downside. But maybe we say Solana. I think Solana is playing a big role at the moment and looking really good. So guys, if you're brand new to the channel, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. Remember, you still have 5 more days to enter the cohort 7 for Sniper School. to go below, click the registration button for Sniper School if you haven't done it just yet, and come join me in class. This is going to teach you all the basics, everything you need to know. If a bull market comes now, remember, you are the boss, you are in charge. Doesn't matter what I say every day on the show. I want you to understand everything and see it for yourself. So come join Sniper School. We then have Banter Bubbles. Banter Bubbles, go download the App Store. I know Run's shooting a beautiful video about it right now to explain to you that whenever the market wakes up, you want a tool that's going to help you see what's the biggest movers, what's waking up, what's doing really well. There's many different giveaways there on there too. And what we have here is the 𝗍𝗿𝗱𝗶 competition. So guys, right now we've got the third biggest team at the moment. There's a 𝗍𝗿𝗱𝗶 competition that is starting. It's the biggest 𝗍𝗿𝗱𝗶 competition you get. It's starting on the 7th. Am I correct? 7th of August, and $8 million is up for grabs. So the way it works is you have different teams. So Banter is its whole team, and it will take the top 10 traders in those teams. And if you win, they calculate your percentages. And if you win the big share of that. And then I think there is a solo competition as well. That's fun, especially this market wakes up and does what we want it to do. You never know. You never know. David, from the last 𝗍𝗿𝗱𝗶 competition, I don't think he thought he would have won it, to be honest. I thought he just had it just played for fun. And he ended up winning a Tesla. So it's crazy how things go. Okay, guys, let's jump in. Let's have a look. So I want to quickly just cover this again. As you could see previously, pumps into FOMC like a few weeks before. It usually slows it down. RSIs get to the top. And we saw this a few times. And then all of a sudden, the last one before this, we had a dump going into it and therefore started a big explosion. And we want to know, is this going to do the same thing this time? Because this time we had this come to the downside. We then had the RSIs. So I can bring up the RSI over here. We then had the RSIs reset. So if we look at the daily, there we go. Daily has just taken off from the bottom. So we knew that the time for the bears to get priced down was getting limited. And ultimately, the bulls are going to respond at some point. And remember, what you're focusing on is this was the previous pump in Bitcoin. It was this big push over here. And yes, you're going to have a pullback. Remember, you're always going to have a big push to the upside, and you're going to have pullbacks within the market. But if you hold a certain level on the pullback, it shows that there's another big leg to come to the upside. And that's all that you want to see. You have a red and you have a green team right now, and you want to see what the momentum is. And right now, it's still very much in the bullish favor. So we're paying very much attention to this trend over here. But so far, so good. This could be the moment where all of a sudden, thank you, FOMC, maybe put some momentum back into Bitcoin and get us back to the areas that we want to have a look at. And it works the exact same thing when it comes to the dominance. The dominance now, I just want to explain to you guys again that we had this collapse in dominance a few days back. I think it was two weeks back we had this collapse. And it was the big pump from XRP. But what it also did was it started to ignite a few other altcoins. Okay, it started to ignite the altcoins that got hit by the SEC, ones that got really smacked. But all of a sudden, you saw Matic pump, you saw Cardano pump, you saw Solana pump, you saw many different tokens start to wake up, as well as Doge. And that was this little push over here. Okay, the only thing then, it was still very narrative driven. It was still very much like a category of tokens. And what we know in crypto is when you get an alt season, you actually get the whole of the altcoins to move. Even if they're terrible altcoins, they still move and everything goes as a whole. So again, what we wanted to track was we wanted to track the sideways over here and put these wedges or put the range in play. And we want to see that where we stopped, yeah, there's a little bit of support over here, but not a strong support. We want to come down to this major support. Remember, this was the area where dominance sat in here for a very long time. It sat below the 50% mark. And you can see many, many, many times it's come to these areas. And I think it was up to 2 years. And we got rejected. We got rejected. And the first time in a long time, it actually broke through that period to the upside. Therefore, we have not tested it. So what you have here is you have two major scenarios that play out. Is at any moment, dominance can lose the support and come down to 48%. After that, big bounce, which means maybe now Bitcoin just goes sideways. Like it literally just goes sideways and it just hovers around 30,000 and you have altcoins just rise quickly. They catch up because let's not deny it's been a very much dominant Bitcoin year so far. They catch up and then what happens is dominance comes a little bit down and a mega bounce in dominance. And then Bitcoin goes and attempts that 40K area. Okay. Then you have the next crazier scenario. And the crazier scenario is dominance actually comes down and corrects properly and ultimately comes down to 44. If this happens, it will probably be the biggest alt run we've seen probably in the last year or two. It's not bull run alt season yet, but it's a mega one. It's one that can possibly take ETH back to 3K, you know, get Solana back to 60-80. You never know. At any moment, this bull market is going to spark up, guys. And you need to keep in that mentality that this is going to happen at any moment now, and you're going to have 9 to 10 months of just up. And every time you think you're at a major area, let's short, let's this and that, it just never comes down, and it just goes up and goes up and goes up. And I wanted to explain to you that, again, in my last bull market, I made no money. Like for the whole, from Bitcoin from $4,000 to $25,000, I made zero money because I was trying to short everything. I kept thinking it's going to come down, it's going to come down, it's going to come down. And it just went, and it just never stopped. And I actually only started making money when it came to the 35K area, which is a blessing. The reason why it's a blessing is because Bitcoin always rides first. Luckily, because I woke up at that time, luckily I still caught altcoins pretty early. And I caught things like Theta, which is around 20, I think it was 20 to 40 cents. It rode all the way up to 15. I got Chainlink around $1.50. It went all the way up to $50 in that run. So luckily, we can be a little bit stingy when Bitcoin runs slowly because the alts come after. Remember, Bitcoin brings all the money in, and then it gets diversified back into the altcoins. So this at any moment now can happen. And so far as things stand, the dominance has always been shifted from the FOMC, and it's giving it a little bit of direction for a period of time. So if we lose this area over here, it is showing that the next possible 2-3 weeks is very much in favor of the altcoins. Now, let's go jump in quickly. Let's give you the Bitcoin updates. Like I say, at the moment, a little bit of a random place that it bounced because it never bounced on this support over here, which is the $28,500 zone. It more or less bounced around 29K. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's either another leg to still come to the downside, and if so, it will be this area right over here where they will nuke us. And we're going to speak, Dill's going to actually show that chart. He's got it done really well, and he's convinced that 𝗵𝗃 is Doge. 𝗵𝗃 is Bitcoin, sorry. He's convinced that 𝗵𝗃 is Bitcoin, so we're going to have that debate just now. But ultimately, this would be the area. We will get rejected here really hard around 29,500, 29,700, and there's another leg down to the side over here. Reason being is you can see RSI is down to the bottom, and we haven't really bounced on support. Now let's fight the other side. Why would they send it straight up from here? Again, this was an area that Bitcoin bounced for a few weeks. It was support, guys. So anyone that was buying Bitcoin, they were buying here. And the thing is, they knew that if we lost this level, price could accelerate pretty quick to the downside. So they'll be putting a lot of stop losses under here. So what would the market do? The market would send it down, hit all the stop losses, and send it straight back up. It could purely be this candle over here could have been a big manipulated candle. And that's the thing. Sometimes you're going to have real red candles. Sometimes you're going to have manipulated candles. And you got to understand the difference. Sometimes it's just going to be an exchange of money to a different hand. So all of a sudden they send over here, a whole bunch of people panic out, whole bunch of smart money buys up, and they just exchanged. They just exchanged money and exchanged from weak hands to strong hands. Very simple. But what we do have over here is the RSI down. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to understand that this is the critical zone. This is the resistance. Okay, so we have a few plays here. The first one now is we roll through and we pop. If we pop, you're going to see a mega short squeeze. You're going to see, because this is where everyone's going to try short now. It's the retest of a level that was lost. They're going to try short. If that happens and Bitcoin gets back above 30K, I think we rally very fast back to the 30,500, if not to the 31,000. I think this is where a big squeeze will happen. Price will move very quick to the upside and it will accelerate really quickly. And that's what we're prepping for, because if this comes down, if all of a sudden this dominance does this, and that happens, you're going to see a big push. This could be the push that gets that Solana back to the areas of that $40. So we know how big the move will be, especially for altcoins, if that plays out. Okay, so that's the first play. And I'm prepping for that play. I'm definitely prepping for that play, that at any moment now we can explode through these areas. Then what we have is the next scenario. The next scenario is the two bearish ones. Let's speak about the two. Let's speak about the smaller bearish one, and then obviously the devastating bearish one. Okay, so the first one is we reject here. We reject here. We come down. We hold this low of 29,000 and we break this trend. Okay, so that it does reject there, but it actually makes a higher low and we break through and we go. Okay, so that would mean Bitcoin come back to down to 29, a nice little 2 to 5% retracement from altcoins, get a higher low, load up, and we go. We still remain incredibly bullish. Or what happens is they nuke us. They nuke us really hard. So what happens is price goes up here, sits here for the rest of today, and all of a sudden they nuke. They nuke. And you got two levels if that happens. You got the area of 28,500, and you have the next level, which is the 27,500. What the chart is saying is this must happen really quickly. This must happen by tonight or tomorrow, if this is the play, where all of a sudden we must nuke hard here at any moment very quickly to the downside, okay, which can still play out at any single moment. So therefore, on any trading accounts, anything that's valuable to you, we are going to tighten up some stops right now as things set, okay? But what we're starting to see is altcoins possibly leading the market again. So previously, we always had Bitcoin leading the markets. This time, it might be altcoins that are leading the market. And why I'm saying that is because if you look at Bitcoin, and then let's look at something like Solana, look how all of a sudden, many alts are already breaking these trends to the upside. They're already starting to move. I drew this up yesterday, and I said, I'm hoping that Doge can pump. We never got the crazy. I was hoping Doge is going to be at 9 cents. Okay, but it's held its level. I still have my positions. Here's my positions over here. I got the Doge position. I got a Phantom position. I'm going to explain to you why. I still got a $100,000 Doge position. It's over 5,000 in profit at the moment. So I'm still holding that nice and strong. But ultimately, what I wanted to do was I wanted to get out of my Doge and get the Solana push. But Solana front ran the party and exploded really quickly. So we've got two plays here with Solana at the moment. Is it has hit a little bit of resistance, and there might be a little pullback. So you remember that first scenario I said with Bitcoin, where it's a small pullback, higher low, and explodes? That's sort of how I would see Solana play out over here. And I'd like to get it around 24 to 24.5. That would be my areas. There's no doubt about it. Solana is one of the strongest altcoins right now. Again, until you are confirmed that this is a full alt season, I would remain with the strong tokens. Keep strong with the tokens that are strong. So you got that first little play over here to buy a pullback within Solana, because if you look at the medium time frame RSIs, they're a little bit at the top. So you'll just wait for these to come down, see if you hold this trend line, and therefore you are in. Okay. Or what happens is Bitcoin absolutely smashes that resistance at any moment now, and I think Sol literally just runs. It literally just runs, maybe a little pullback there later. But nonetheless, again, we've got altcoins that are breaking the trends a lot quicker. Now, another interesting thing that happened yesterday is we got ETH to Bitcoin breaking trend. So what it is doing is does have an important, like a rooftop to get through. So it's probably going to take a little bit of time here. But I think very soon we're going to get Ethereum joining the party. And that should help us a lot to get dominance to the downside. Now, let's quickly jump into Doge. I want to have you a quick update on Doge. So this is my play. This is how I'm trading Doge. One of the obvious trades for me, okay, at the moment. And I'll go to smaller time frames so you can see it over here. Okay, this little blue moving average is the 200 daily moving average. We broke that and we literally tested it perfect yesterday. Okay, so there's a little short-term break, and I want to show you here on the 1 hour. So if I draw this trend line here, you can see there's a little trend line there. And there's going to be a little retest of Doge over here. For me, the buy is already hit, but there's going to be a retest, which is probably around the 0.785 sort of area. This is where I am probably doubling my position. I'm going full bull on Doge. Now, yes, I got stops, and I'll explain to you where my stop losses are. There's my stop loss, 0.075. So I got the stop loss in play. But for me, I think that it was only just the beginning for Doge. And I think Doge still rallies up to these areas. So I've drawn out this play over here. I actually drew it out yesterday and I showed you guys. And I say, I think this pullback goes over here. And you can literally see where my thing was literally exactly where it went to. And from here, I'm seeing a big acceleration down. So I still think spot, I'll be careful slightly with leverage. But with spot, with any trading portfolios, I still think Doge is going to be one of the best plays right now to be getting in. Remember, it only just broke these major trend lines a few days back. And ultimately, for me, it's above the 200 daily. And I do see acceleration at any moment. This may come by a tweet. It may come from anything at any moment. But we know Doge has these crazy pumps. But I'm definitely getting around 10 to 11 cents. So we've spoken a lot about Doge, but I want to make sure we're in. And I want to make sure we're trading strength. Yes, I want to give you guys 50 altcoin calls, but until I know it's definitely alt season or alt period, I'm going to be sticking with strength and just slowing down the calls, but making sure we're getting a lot more accurate. You cannot say the last 2-3 weeks we've been extremely accurate with a lot less calls. So that's definitely been a big thing. Now, the next I want to speak about over here is Chainlink. Chainlink is one of the next ones. I spoke about the buys yesterday, that there was a small buy. I'm hoping for a little bit lower, but ultimately Chainlink, again, one of the strong ones to the upside. I still think this has the possibility of going back to the top of the range of the $9 to the $10 mark. But let's speak about some new trades. Let's speak about this one over here. So for me, I'm going Phantom. So I want to speak over here, Phantom. You saw it on my thing over here. Look at this. So guys, on a very high time frame daily, okay, not the perfect double bottom just yet, but very close to over here. And for me, we are at the bottom range again within Phantom. I think there's going to be a Phantom wake up. And what I've done over here is I've put this little trend over here in play. So if you're a trend line trader, you can wait for the possible trend. But what I do think is going to happen over here, especially shorter time frame, is I think there's a little bit of rejection, and I think this thing pops. And for me, it got extremely battered and bruised along the journey. For me, this is a big play that's been coming down really hard, and there's a huge gap to the upside. Now, where I see it going to the upside, I see it go test the major trend. See this major trend over here. This for me is a bullish sign, guys. You have RSIs at the bottom. You have a higher low. You got bullish divergence. You have many indicators showing that there's volume to come soon within Phantom. It's very cheap. For me, the fact that it's in the mid 20 cent mark makes it very cheap for my side, especially seeing this thing at $3.50 before. And this also gets very much driven around 𝗪𝗿𝗄𝗅𝗍 and all these sort of things. So maybe something's coming in there. But me personally, I'm loading up here. I think it's still a great coin, and I think risk to reward right now, it's incredible. If you look at the areas of a spot trade at the moment, you can put your stop losses just under this previous daily low. But I'm seeing this rally back up to 40 cents from here, guys. So the gains is really big to the upside if you look at where we're at right now. So one of my favorite right now is definitely Phantom as things speak. You know, let's actually bring up 𝗿𝗏. You ready? You ready, bro?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Show us. Show us. Show us. Show us. Show us. What are these called?
Yeah. So look, just listening to what you're saying about BTC, you spot on. I mean, we're pushing into resistance now. We can't get like too excited about things, but those scenarios you're talking about make perfect sense. I mean, if we hit this resistance zone and we get a little pullback here, we're going to start seeing things like these double bottoms forming on these altcoins, like AVAX, for example. It will get that little pullback. So, you know, if BTC rejects here, we get a pullback. It might be very healthy for us. It might be very healthy for these altcoins, actually. Obviously, you know, the exciting one would be this pop, and then retest and go from there. I mean, that's the one we're living for, aren't we? But yeah, guys, nothing to be afraid of. If we get this little pullback on BTC, nothing to really panic about until these alts start losing these key support levels. But what we're seeing across the board here, and I've just got some randoms for you guys. Here's render, trend break, okay?
Double bottom.
200-day MA.
Look at the daily. Look at the daily double bottom.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so and we've also got the 200-day MA.
Look at that, bro.
Playing
big
games
double
here.
bottom. Yes, yes.
So guys, eyes on render. You know, if we get a BTC pullback, you know, maybe we just come back and we test this little 200-day again. Nothing to worry about until we start losing that 200-day. We saw Doge, like Doge held that 200-day, epic. It's going to be the same here with render. Support until we lose that 200-day. I'm comfortable with render. You know, and then little targets up here. Obviously, we can go much bigger. But you know, when you start moving and the trade starts cooking and renders at 1.9, it's going to be pretty green. You know, you might want to start looking for some TP. Here's comp, interesting one. It's been moving a bit. It's now sort of struggling at this resistance zone. I'm potentially looking at a pullback here for comp. If not, you know what's going to happen. Yeah, pop, retest, and go. So yeah, comp's one I'm keeping my eyes on. 𝗵𝗵𝘃𝗶, bro.
Okay, tell us. Explain.
𝗵𝗵𝘃𝗃 is Bitcoin with a cape. In disguise. I mean, it's the same chart. Right?
But it's breaking trend now, so is Bitcoin gonna follow?
It's almost like it's front running BTC here. So I mean, I don't want to get too excited. I am quite long on some of these alts. I did short BTC yesterday and got stopped, unfortunately. But I am long on some alts here, so it would be nice to see a little BTC break. But look, isn't this interesting? This 𝗵𝗃𝗃 now pushing up here. If we get a little pop here, this thing's going to move. And then I'm looking at this zone up here, this 1850 sort of area.
So I was actually looking at, let me add, still stay on your thing, but let me just add here quick to the 𝗕𝗂𝗃. So for me, what I liked about 𝗕𝗂𝗃, obviously it broke this trend a while back. So it had the big initial pump, and then it had this little push. So by the way, guys, disclaimer, I don't hold 𝗕𝗂𝗃 for long term at all, but I do think it's a big play for retail and to get a lot of excitement and free money into the market. So it broke this trend, started the upside, and then what we wanted to see was a higher low. So you take your Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, and you wait for 618, and it bounced beautifully there. So as it stands now, I do think there's going to be a 𝗕𝗂𝗃 breakout. And I do think it's actually going to retrace this big move. So if you take your Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, it indicates where this big move can go. And I think it's a pretty decent one. It may come over a few weeks or anything like that, but it is showing 𝗕𝗂𝗃 to come back to these areas, especially if we break this trend. And therefore here, and you look at this trade over here, firstly, risk to reward's really good, but you can look at percentage growth more or less of up to 100% within 𝗕𝗂𝗃. So this is a good indication, guys, for dominance, and it's a good indication for retail to enter the market, to get a whole bunch of people come and FOMO in again within the market. So definitely on 𝗕𝗂𝗃 over there. I just want to add quickly to the one where you said render. I think render is a great coin to be ready for too long. If Bitcoin breaks the trend, I think render is going to absolutely smoke. Firstly, it did have that double bottom, which is a really bullish, it's a really bullish pattern, guys. Great bullish pattern. So when you see that play out, RSIs are tapped out, and you have this trend over here. And it's basically saying if it gets above that 1.8, on these medium time frames, the best way you do it, you pop a stop loss under the bottom low, and you long this bad boy for back to $2 to $2.2. If not breaking the top of that range. So render is also one of the very obvious trades right now if the market goes bullish, is render and phantom. These are the two big ones for me now at the moment. But then what we do have is we have these ones. Very obvious right now that Matic's on support. And if it's time for them to go right now, there's the trend. We're on support, stop loss under the low, and they're going to go attempt the new highs. All these coins did really well. They made highs, and they're making higher lows. And ultimately from here, they should go make higher highs from here, which is back to 90 cents, if not $1. So again, you look at this, you look at Cardano, there's the breakout, retest on support right now. This should be the time that Cardano makes its way back to the 40 cents, if not to the higher targets, and actually get going. Look at this on the weekly. Look at this. This could easily rally back up to the 40, 50, if not the 60 cent mark.
Some bull talk, yeah. Some proper bull talk. I'm loving it.
Bro, for me, it's like you can't be bearish right now. Yes, we had a short-term resistance, so we got to be careful of the bot. I get it. But end of the day, when else are you going to buy altcoins? You have to buy on support. You spoke about it even just now in the warm-up before we did the show. You have to buy on support.
You can never be bearish on support. This is what we were saying this whole last few days. Guys messaging me, can we short, whatever. Like, you don't want to short like big support zones, I mean, worst case, we get a little bounce on these things, a couple of percent. I want to show you this FTM BTC chart as well, just to
I'm getting really bullish on Phantom. It may take a few days, but I'm getting really bullish on Phantom. I really am.
Phantom, we've watched Phantom bleed out for like 2 weeks, maybe longer. It's actually been quite depressing to watch, and like they've really oversold it the way they did SOL, So it can at any point come fighting back, and when the minute that like 𝗪𝗏𝗄𝗏 tweets or something like that, this thing's going to absolutely rip. So yeah, it's starting to look very interesting to me. If you can see the upside on BTC, just playing this range.
That double bottom, that's a very high time frame.
And this is weekly. Okay, these are big areas. So like, to lose this weekly level is a massive hit for Phantom. I mean, Phantom's going to be at like 12 cents or something like that if it loses its area. So right now, Phantom's on support against BTC. It's been on support against on just actual support here at the 786. We had the bounce. So yeah, and I'm also feeling quite bullish on Phantom at the moment.
Yeah, me too. So I'm not too big. So I got $100,000 long on Doge, and I'm on a $30,000 long on Phantom at the moment.
Not too big. Right? Not too big there, guys.
What I'm actually hoping is I'm hoping for Doge to pump, so I can start TPing out of Doge, and I'm hoping that Phantom starts to break up, and I can start adding to the Phantom position for the bigger move to the upside. I wanted Solana, but Solana's a little bit gone now. So you can see how quickly I shift my mind. I wanted 𝗖𝗿, but the shift, I was supposed to do it a little bit earlier. You know, we're never going to get it perfect. But at the end of the day, now I'm going into the Phantom and going into the correct one.
Phantom,
so guys,
I think Phantom's got legs.
Exactly. Phantom's got legs. So guys, I want to just clarify again. Anything else there, Dol?
Just general altcoins. They're all sort of looking similar. They're pushing trends, breaking trends. Now, I mean, the key entries, guys, they were here on support. When you were panicking, those were the key entries. Okay,
but there might be some
secondary entries. Yes. So now, obviously, we're sitting at resistance with some of these alts now. So now you got to just tread carefully. You got to look for these breaks now. Look for the retest. We saw it with 𝗧𝗏 yesterday. 𝗧𝗏 was pushing this trend, pushing the trend. Okay, we got the break, we got the retest, added, and now it's on its way. Okay, so just be patient. But the key entries, guys, are always, the aggressive entries are these ones where you're feeling super bearish and you think you want to short the market. Those
I
are
was
oftentimes
100K long into FOMC, bro. Like, that's uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Yeah, no, you're so right, bro. Anything else there? Yeah, look at Matic.
No, that's it. Yeah, so go through the list. The alts, they're all setting up similarly. But now they've had a little move. Eyes on BTC. Let's see what happens now. Break, rejection. Cool. Let's see how it plays out.
Thank you, my brother. Tomorrow, will you show us Prime, please? So go below and sign up on Prime, guys. So Dol can show you guys some of the stocks. So guys, let's quickly jump back here. So I just want to clarify for the day. So we are at a very critical level when it comes to Bitcoin, big resistance. So I've given you guys the main different scenarios. If we break this trend line and we start to break strong, make sure your positions are in. Okay, with your stop losses. I am giving you guys similar coins that I've spoken about a few times, because until I'm convinced that the whole market's going to wake up, I'm not going to go back to all of these short-term trades. A lot of them are great for long-term entries now. Go dollar cost, go build your portfolios, no problem. Go look at them on the weekly, get them at good levels. But when it comes to where we're trading now and trading strength, I am sticking to the similar tokens. And for me, again, it falls under Cardano, Matic, Phantom, Doge, yes. Solana, yes. Ethereum, yes. These are the ones for me are becoming obvious trades right now. If that dominance comes down, it's going to be bigger cap altcoins that's actually going to take money from Bitcoin. You need more money now. It's not going to be the little coins just yet. It's going to be the bigger coins at the moment that will start. So for me, those are obvious trades. Once we are through this and we get through this and we see the two scenarios, if this has played out or we have played this out now, boom, then we can go full bull and I can give you guys many different altcoins. But for now, keep an eye on 𝗕𝗏𝗄 as well and Render. So those were the next ones. So I have given you guys many different calls. And we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully this cracks out. Just remember, guys, we have Bitget. They're running a lucky draw for users. The prize pool is valued at $100,000. So if you complete any of the following to get an entry, so you need to do your KYC, you need to deposit $200. You got to reach $50,000 in USDT trading volume. So that's by trading. Complete your first time copy trade. Complete your first time deposits via P2P. Complete first time deposit via bank deposits. All of them have to be done.
No, anyone.
Any one of them, guys. Or complete your first time deposit via debit card. The link is below in the description. Yes, you can subscribe to Shark Fin Earn. It's all there, guys. You'll find it all there below. The prices include $1 to $100 USDT trading bonuses, 100 Bitget tokens, a MacBook Air M2, and an Amazon voucher. So this competition is running till the 30th of September. So go below. So guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's show. Much love, Banter fam.